it get fucked up by Canelo. Oh, I'm sorry. It's TMT.
Yeah, you can curse. You can curse. You can curse.
I apologize, but
no apologize about.
There's no way he get.
Is the type of fight Terence Crawford is fighter is different.
Canelo Alvarez's business manager has revealed that the Mexican superstar is on track to become the first boxer in history to surpass a net worth of $1 billion following his highly anticipated showdown with Terence Crawford. Former boxing champion Floyd Mayweather also voiced his support for Alvarez, stating, "There are a lot of great Mexican fighters out there, and Canelo is definitely one of them." Mayweather added that Canelo deserves respect for the way he's built his fortune, saying he's truly broken the bank.
Canelo's a hell of a fighter. There's a lot of great Mexican fighters. That's not for me to rate fighters. I just take my hat off to so many fighters that paved the way, for me to be where I'm at, just, throughout life. Canelo's a hell of a fighter.
Terence Crawford is set to face Canelo Álvarez this September at Allegiant Stadium. But what truly shocked the fight world was the announcement that UFC President Dana White will serve as the official boxing promoter for the bout. The news sent shockwaves through the combat sports community, sparking global reactions. Among those weighing in was former world champion Amir Khan, who expressed confidence in Crawford's chances. Khan stated that despite Crawford being a natural 147-pound fighter, his strength and skill are often underestimated. He added that if Crawford keeps his distance, sticks to his boxing fundamentals, and fights smart, he absolutely has the tools to beat Canelo.
Crawford could beat him because Crawford is a big 147 fighter and is strong as well, which a lot of people don't give him the credit for. I think that fight, if it does happen, as long as Crawford stays away and just boxes and be smart, he can win that fight. I think Crawford's a better fighter than Charlo, and he's a smart fighter as well. He switches and everything, so that would be a very good fight.
Former champion Andre Ward shared a measured but confident perspective on Terence Crawford ahead of his potential clash with Canelo Álvarez. While acknowledging the risks of jumping up in weight and the physical challenges that come with facing a bigger opponent, Ward voiced his full support for Crawford. He emphasized that throughout Crawford's career, no one has been able to break his will or outthink him in the ring. Ward believes that Crawford's adaptability, mental toughness, and ring IQ give him a real shot, even against a powerhouse like Canelo.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. Big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. It ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can be.
Meanwhile, the boxing voice weighed in on the matchup by highlighting the stark contrast in competition levels between Canelo Álvarez and Terence Crawford. They argued that Canelo has consistently faced top-tier opposition throughout his career, including multi-division champions like Gennady Golovkin. In contrast, they pointed out that Crawford's resume lacks opponents of similar caliber, particularly those with proven success across multiple weight classes. While acknowledging Crawford's elite skill set, the boxing voice raised questions about whether his level of competition has truly prepared him for a challenge as formidable as Canelo.
There's no Triple G on Bud's resume. There's no Trout on Bud's resume. There's no Daniel Jacobs on Bud's resume. Canelo is the one that's fought the elite level opposition. It's Canelo that fought Laura. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ.
Yeah, but Bud is an elite boxer.
So you're an elite boxer.
Meanwhile, Rolando Raleigh, Romero didn't hold back when asked for his thoughts on Terence Crawford's upcoming fight with Canelo Álvarez. Romero dismissed Crawford entirely, offering a blunt prediction that favored Canelo. He argued that the matchup isn't about skill, it's about size. According to Romero, the significant weight difference makes the fight unappealing and, in his view, not something fans are genuinely asking for.
We got Canelo, we got Terence Crawford. That's going to happen in the fall. It's going to happen here in Sin City, your hometown. How do you feel about that matchup?
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled. And this isn't a skill matchup. It has nothing to do with skill. It has to do with weight.
Moving on, NFL star Max Crosby weighed in on the Canelo vs. Crawford showdown, calling it nearly impossible to predict. He described the bout as a complete dogfight, suggesting it will be gritty, intense, and hard-fought from start to finish. While Crosby admitted the fight could go the distance and end in a decision, he ultimately leaned toward Canelo as the likely winner.
That's almost impossible to answer. That's going to be an absolute dogfight. I have to go Canelo. I think he's a little bit bigger, and I think that's going to work to his advantage, but that'll be one of the best fights, period.
Knockout or decision?
Decision. I think it might be a split.
Teofimo Lopez also shared his thoughts on the mega fight, expressing concern for Terence Crawford while siding with Canelo Álvarez. Lopez predicted that the bout would either end in a late stoppage or go the distance, with Canelo coming out on top in either scenario. He hinted that the physicality and experience of Álvarez could prove too much for Crawford over 12 rounds.
Who do you favor if we do eventually see that matchup?
To be honest, first and foremost, I favor the fans. We want to see a great fight. We want to see the best fight the best. Even if the Crawford got to go up 3 weight classes to face the best and the king in the face of boxing of Canelo Álvarez. But I'm still going to go with my stablemate, Canelo Álvarez, with the win. Now, what decision? I think it's a late knockout. If not, it might end in 6.
In a separate video, Teofimo Lopez further discussed the potential Canelo versus Crawford bout. While he favored Canelo due to his size advantage, Lopez acknowledged Crawford's superior ring intelligence. He suggested that before stepping in the ring with Canelo, Crawford should first face an opponent within the 168-pound division to properly acclimate. Despite his concerns, Lopez admitted the fight would be thrilling and significant for both fighters' legacies.
Crawford, Canelo, who you got?
Crawford, Canelo? I still say Canelo.
I got Canelo too.
I still say Canelo. Ring IQ, I believe that Crawford has a bit more.
Yeah.
However, it's just the size difference. I think that where Crawford is lacking is that he should test the waters even with somebody at that weight class before facing Canelo. But hey, they say he's a dog. He's got shot in the head and drove to the hospital, so maybe that's just his mentality.
Hey, let's see. Only one way to find out until that day comes.
It's the only way, but I definitely think that it's a great fight overall. Black and brown is how you get down.
However, respected trainer Joel Diaz strongly dismissed the idea that Crawford could defeat Canelo. Diaz emphasized the significant size disparity, arguing that a bigger man's power can shift the fight with a single punch. He referenced Crawford's recent move from 147 to 154 pounds, where he made limited impact against Israel Madrimov, and warned that jumping 2 more divisions to face a 168-pound Canelo would be too steep a climb.
A lot of people that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Álvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. Okay, Madrimov was a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions. Canelo Álvarez will take any punch from Crawford, but I don't think Crawford will take any punches from Canelo. Remember, Canelo got hit by Triple G.
Sports analyst Stephen A. Smith also voiced his concern about the matchup. He argued that Crawford moving up 3 weight classes, totaling a 21-pound jump, to fight Canelo is too drastic. Smith pointed to Jermall Charlo's failed attempt at a similar challenge, stressing that size and weight matter, regardless of skill level.
Let me tell you what I think should be gone. The notion that Terence Bud Crawford should move up 3 weight classes, 21 pounds, to fight Canelo Álvarez. He's entirely too small. Jermall Charlo already proved that. Y'all remember that scene from Rocky? Remember that scene from Rocky 2? When Carl Weathers was Apollo Creed and his trainer was like, can I be honest? I saw you beat this man within an inch of his life. And he kept coming. He wouldn't go away. He's wrong for us, baby. He's wrong. Let it go. Apollo couldn't do it and lost fight number 2. Trained him for Rocky 3 and then got killed in Rocky 4.
Despite the criticism, both fighters appeared confident during their first official face-off ahead of their September clash. The event took place in the presence of His Excellency Turki Alashik, adding an air of global prestige to the highly anticipated bout.
Today, 612, Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. For the undisputed super middleweight.
Adding another layer to the narrative, Canelo Álvarez's business manager Richard Schaefer told The Ring that the undisputed super middleweight champion is expected to become the first boxer to surpass $1 billion net worth after his fight with Crawford. Schaefer believes this fight will elevate Canelo's fame and fortune beyond even that of his former opponent, Floyd Mayweather. Reflecting on his 2013 loss to Mayweather, Canelo praised the undefeated legend's experience and intelligence, calling him a complete fighter and even an idol.
I mean, you fought Floyd Mayweather at what? You're 23?
23.
That's so young.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I trained so hard, and now obviously I try to beat him because, you know, if you beat him, you want to be the best in the world at 23.
What do you think was so impressive about him?
His experience, he's so smart. He have everything in a fighter, you know, a complete fighter. He don't have power in the punches, but when you that kind of fighter, you don't need it.
You think that was the toughest fight you faced?
No.
What do you
think? I think it's one tough fights and difficult fights. That was a difficult.
Canelo also acknowledged his lack of experience at the time of the Mayweather fight. Despite having many professional bouts, he noted his limited amateur background, having turned pro at just 15. He admitted giving up both weight and rehydration advantages to Mayweather, which he believes played a role in the outcome.
You faced Mayweather, you were 23 years old, I believe?
23.
And
just
again,
turned 23.
Yeah, you just turned 23. You didn't have a lot of seasoning. I know people will say, oh, he had a lot of fights. Well, you didn't have an amateur career. You started boxing at 15 as a pro, right?
Yeah.
So you gave up the weight concession. You gave up the rehydration clause. And I always thought if you would have faced him, you know, with some more seasoning, it would have gone differently.
You know, he deserved the position in the moment because, you know, Floyd Mayweather is one of the best fighters in the boxing history, and he deserved the position in that moment. You know, I try to make history, and I try to put myself in the very top in that moment. But for some reason, doesn't happen, right? And yeah, like you say, if I had that fight with Miguel Angel Cotto first and all these kind of fights, and then fight Mayweather.
Meanwhile, Dimitri Bivol, who handed Canelo a rare loss in 2022, shared his thoughts on the Crawford fight. Bivol predicted that Crawford would bring more energy and urgency to the ring, citing his hunger and competitive mentality. He noted that Crawford's style could force Canelo to stay active and focused, resulting in a much more intense and competitive bout than many expect.
What do you make of the fight with Crawford and Canelo that's likely to be announced?
I think Crawford wants this fight a lot. He wants this fight, and I think he will be more active than Canelo's previous opponent, and he has different mentality. He has champion mentality. I think the fight will be much more interesting.
What do you make of the weight in that fight, the weight difference?
I think Crawford will not let Canelo just walking on the ring when he wants, you know, because we could see this fight. Canelo did everything. When he won a rest, he could rest easy, you know, in this fight. Yeah, of course, when he wants to work, that guy didn't give him work.
On the other hand, Sean Porter, Crawford's former opponent, expressed concern about Crawford's ability to handle Canelo's power over 12 rounds. Porter pointed out the risk of jumping 2 weight classes and questioned whether Crawford could absorb Canelo's punches. He noted Canelo's tendency to start strong and wear opponents down early, suggesting that strategy could be especially dangerous for Crawford.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean? So
that is such a 50-50 fight. I'm going right here. And let me back this up, because I know people don't like to hear 50-50, and they know that Crawford's my boy, so on and so forth. Styles make fights. And I mean, both guys have a style to beat the other.
In an episode of Club Shay Shay, Gilles the Kid also weighed in on the fight. He sided with Canelo, citing the massive weight jump as a critical disadvantage for Crawford. Gilles compared the move to Roy Jones Jr.'s historic weight ascension but noted that Jones took time to adjust, while Crawford would be making a sudden leap, something rarely successful in boxing history. While he believed Crawford might outbox Canelo early, he warned that it could all change with a single heavy shot.
Canelo and Bud. Who you like in this fight?
Canelo.
Why? Because Bud had to move up 3 classes?
Yes. And in the history of boxing, I've never seen anybody move up 2 classes and be successful.
Well, Roy did.
I mean, but not in one jump, not in one leap.
Right, you're right.
It was here, right. Light, heavyweight, fight a few fights, right. Okay, heavyweight. We talking about he just fought 147 one fight ago.
Right.
And then you gonna fight at 168?
Yeah. Cause did he fight his last fight at 54?
Yes, just one fight
right.
though.
And so now he'd go from 54 to 60 to 68.
Right.
And then he doesn't have a rehydration clause, so Canelo might be 180. 185, 190.
190.
Right. Do you think he thinks he can outbox Canelo?
I think he can outbox Canelo too until he get hit.
In the same discussion, the hosts debated the historical difficulty of jumping multiple weight classes. One pointed out that Roy Jones Jr. took a gradual path, light heavyweight to heavyweight, whereas Crawford is jumping from 147 to 168 pounds in just 2 fights. They also highlighted the lack of a rehydration clause, meaning Canelo could weigh 180 to 190 pounds on fight night. While they acknowledged Crawford's technical brilliance, they agreed that all it takes is one power shot to shift momentum.
Do you give Terence Crawford a reasonable chance against Canelo Álvarez at that weight?
I can't say it.
Huh?
I can't say it.
No, not even with all the skills in the world. If he keeps him out and you believe it's just...
Because Canelo got skills too.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like he don't have skills. Like, I mean, Crawford got skills, yeah. But if they both fought at 54, I'd be like, I don't know.
Is that more of a pick 'em?
I'm just saying, like, if they both fought at 54, right? And Canelo was who he was at 54, and Crawford, they both fought. I don't know. Yeah. Now you give Canelo 68. I mean, I don't know. I just think for me, it's not even a shot. I just can't see it.
Boxing legend Shane Mosley gave a blunt take on the matchup, admitting he couldn't confidently predict a winner. While he praised Crawford's talent, he felt Canelo might possess even greater skills. Mosley emphasized the challenge of competing at 168 pounds, noting it would be a tough climb for someone coming from Crawford's natural weight class.
Good outlook from Canelo. Dude, this guy is, I mean, yo, I would never watch a William Skull fight ever again. Yeah, he's like, yeah, you ready? You say, you ready for this? Damn, look at Canelo already starting. Hey, can y'all believe this? This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. How is this going? This is the greatest. Oh my God, look at the head size of Crawford. I got chills. This is too much. I am about to have a boxing orgasm. Oh my God. Okay, y'all sold it. Y'all sold it for me.
In another reaction, a commentator known as Show the Adult noted that the dynamic of the event completely changed the moment Crawford stepped into the ring. He suggested that Crawford's presence elevated the excitement and added unexpected tension to what had already been a massive event.
Is the type of fight Terence Crawford is different.
Canelo, for his part, acknowledged Crawford as a great fighter and emphasized that their bout would generate massive global attention. Both fighters shared a respectful yet intense face-off, building anticipation for what's shaping up to be one of the most talked about.
Kovalov, like we can be honest, it wasn't the same Kovalov after he fought Andre Ward. That's what I think. But I think Bud is a southpaw. I think that's the part that kind of that's underestimated about the fight. I think him being a southpaw makes it a little harder for Canelo. I think Canelo has some type of trouble with southpaw when I watched him fight John Ryder.
Yep.
John Ryder, and John Ryder wasn't that good. It's just Canelo was fighting against the southpaw, and it made it a little bit harder than usual. But with the Madrimov fight, I just felt like Madrimov is a good fighter, and stylistically, he's a lot different than Canelo.
Yeah, I look.
So, what do you think? Can Terence Crawford pull off the upset and defeat Canelo Álvarez? How much will both fighters walk away with after this historic bout? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates, analysis, and exclusive fight content.